Rabbi Jacob Bachrach reveals God's name, the pronunciation of a God's name. He reveals he's a linguist, an apologist. He was a linguist and apologist of Rabbinic Judaism. He lived in the 19th century, and he revealed the true pronunciation of a God's name. And that's why I'm here. Though I live in Brazil and my language is Portuguese, but I'm doing my best to produce this video. And I have a lot of videos in YouTube, my YouTube channel. You are welcome to have the opportunity to learn more about the Bible's languages, the language of the Bible, the ancient Hebrew language, not the modern Hebrew language, but the language, classical Hebrew. I teach classical Hebrew as well as Greek language for quite a long time, since the beginning of the 90s. And today I'm presenting you the title of this video is Yaakov ben Bachrach, a rabbi, a religious leader, but he was a scholar, a linguist, and an apologist of Rabbinic Judaism. And he wrote something that now we know for sure that it has an idea different from the ideas involved in this subject, that people are spreading that the name of God is Yahweh, or others says that the name is Yahweh, but the true pronunciation was, as we can see in the writings of this rabbi, and I'm going to show you now. I translated it to Portuguese language here in Brazil. My video is having a good acceptance, and some people are really coming to have the truth, get to know the truth about this name. As we see the words of Mr. Yaakov ben Bachrach, he says, the vowels of the name, the vowels Shiva, Leolam, Kamatz, or Yehovah, are not the vowels of the title Adonai, but they belong to the only true name. The vowels Shiva is an E, Leolam is an O, and Kamatz is an A. Or we can see that the name is Yehovah, or E-O-A. The true pronunciation defended by this apologist, linguist. He reveals the name in this article, book that he wrote. The name of the book is Ishtadalut Emishadal, a 19th century book. It's produced in the year 1890. Okay, as you see here, in the year 1890, 19th century. Okay, the book Ishtadalut Mishadal, it means a debate between Shemuel Luzzatto. Shadal is the abbreviation of Shemuel David Luzzatto, who was he himself a rabbi. And they were having a kind of discussion about some subjects involving so many things, and the Masra, the Hebrew Bible. And suddenly he said such words that the name of God is pronounced Yehovah, and the word Yehovah they are not the vowels of Adonai. Shiva, Leolam, Kamatz, E-O-A. But they are the true pronunciation. He said that, and not only Jacob Bachrach, but a lot of other rabbis said the same. You can see a book produced by Nehemiah Gordon, a Bible scholar, he saw with his own eyes in Bar Ilan University in Israel. He saw one of the writings he saw was this one, Jacob Bachrach's article, Ishtadalut Mishadal, and many others saying the same thing. In the 14th century, a rabbi of 15th or 16th century, all of them saying the same thing, that the name was pronounced with the vowels Shiva, Leolam, Kamatz. So I'd like to thank you for your presence here, and I'd like to share with you some information about God's name and the true pronunciation of God's name according to the best known manuscripts of the Bible, the Masorah, in the Hebrew language. We see the name, for example, in the Aleppo Codex 280 times. I wrote an article here called Nome Divino, or Divine Name Yehovah, 280 times. In Aleppo Codex. Aleppo Codex is a manuscript in the Hebrew language, dated. You can see his the date it was written here in this year. Take a look. An ancient, very old text, and you can see the name with the vowels Shiva Roland Kamatz all the time, 280 times, and the Leningradensis Codex more times, 260 times in Leningradensis Codex, another codex of the 10th century. But almost the same time that this text was produced, we have the Leningradensis Codex and others as well, with the name, with the full vowels Shiva Roland Kamatz EOA. You can see here. So why they wrote with the Shiva Roland Kamatz so many times? These vowels are not the vowels of Adonai. And we know for sure because the rabbi said that when we read the book of Exodus, take a look, chapter 3, in the Bible in Hebrew language. I teach those languages. I teach Erev Tov. Welcome to this opportunity to listen God's word, my friends. Welcome for everybody. Exodus chapter 3 is the verse 15. In Hebrew language, there is a secret. According to a religious leader, a rabbi, he said, and his words are written in the book of Mr. Nehemiah Gordon. His book says the words of another rabbi, and he says that in this text of Exodus chapter 3, verse 15, there is a secret involving God's name. In the word Leolam, you can see the text says, this opportunity, this occasion was when Moses, he was in Mount Sinai, and God was talking to him through an angel, and God was talking to him about the need to deliver his people from the land of Egypt, to conduct them and lead them to a land, a better place for them. And you see here when Moses asked for his name, and God said, the text says, Vayomer ad Elohim el Moshe, and God said to Moses, Ko tomar el bnei Israel. That's what you have to say to the sons of Israel. Yehovah Elohei avoteichem, Jehovah, the God of your forefathers, Elohei Avraham, the God of Abraham, Elohei Tzchaki, the Elohei Isaac, or God of Isaac, I don't know the specific word in English for Isaac, yes, Isaac or Isaac. The God of Yaakov or Jacob, Shilachani Aleikem, has sent me to you. Zeh Shemi, this is my name. The word Zeh is demonstrative pronoun. It means that that God's name is here, and in fact it is here, Yehovah, with not all the three vowels, Shiva Roland Kamatz, EOA, but we know that that's the name for sure, because when you click here in this web page is BibleHub.com, you can see after you click on a word, you go straight to the definition in for example, Strong's Concordance, and James Strong was a believer. He was, I don't know specifically the church, but he was a religious member of a church, a believer, evangelical one, and he wrote the Strong's Concordance. Everybody knows it very well. It helps us a lot, and in the definition of the word Yehovah, he wrote using the vowels Shiva Roland Kamatz, EOA. So we must read Yehovah in the Hebrew language. In English language, there is no problem to pronounce Jehovah. No problem, Jehovah or Jehovah. No problem. In Portuguese language here, in Brazil, we pronounce Jehovah. Jehovah. In Italy, they say Jehovah. There's no problem when we pronounce a little bit different in different places, because there is no such a need of such a this fantasy of perfection in pronunciation. Why we say that? Take a look. He, Strong, in his concordance, he wrote that the pronunciation or the phonetic spelling is Yehovah. Yehovah with the V. Oh, it's really interesting because even the letter V or Vav has the sound of a V. We know that for sure because we compare texts in the Hebrew Bible. When the ancient Hebrew, the classical Hebrew, you can see that they use the late bait, the letter bait, and the letter Vav interchangeably. They change it. Sometimes they put bait or bait, and sometimes they use Vav, so that the letter V is the sound of Yehovah, not Wa with W, no, but with V. And other thing that we have to talk about is not only this. Let's go back to the text. What is the secret that we have here? That I said we have a secret according to some rabbi. Well, the secret, he said, in the word Leolam. The word Leolam is a Hebrew word that means forever. So Leolam, he said there is a secret in the word Leolam that makes us to understand the pronunciation, the true pronunciation of our God's name. A rabbi of a long time ago, he said that the pronunciation of God's name is in a secret here in the word Leolam. Do you know what secret is that? The secret is the vowels of Leolam. Leolam in Hebrew means forever. But when you see the word Leolam, you see the letters, the vowels of Yehovah. Shiva, Olam, Kamatz. Shiva is an E, Olam is an O, and Kamatz is an A, a long vowel. So we have Leolam, the word Leolam, and the vowels of the name, God's name, Yehovah. So we can read, God said, Koh tomar el bnei Israel, Yehovah Elohei avotechem, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Tzak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Shilachani Aleichem Zeh Shemi. This is my name. When it says this, it means that the name is here. Some Bible translations, they just erase God's name from this text and so many other texts. I'd like to tell you an example. Here in Brazil, we have a translation of the Bible, and the Bible translation they use here is called João Ferreira de Almeida. João Ferreira de Almeida is the preferred Bible for a lot of people, evangelicals. And when we see their Bible translation, they change the name of God. Instead, they put Lord. Okay, capital L-O-R-D, L-O, Lord. In Portuguese, we say Senhor. They put Senhor or Lord in capital letters. But when we have in our hands a most ancient Bible here of these people, the same Bible, another edition of the same Bible, João Ferreira de Almeida is the name of the translation. The João Ferreira de Almeida, the edition of 1819, 200 years ago, almost 200 years ago. We see God's name everywhere. And believe me, the letters, the vowels are, we read in Portuguese, Jehovah, or Yehovah in English language. Yes, they used it to have the name in their Bible, but now they don't. They just put Lord instead of Jehovah. What happened? Let me drink a water here because I'm alive and I need to drink a little of water. And while you are taking a look in this man, Mr. Bachrach, his name, Yaakov ben Moses Bachrach, a linguist. He lived from 1824 till 1896. Before his death, he wrote the book Istadalutim Shadal, where he said that God's name is pronounced with the vowels E-O-A, or Yehovah. Yehovah is the name of a God, the pronunciation of old Israelites. And that's not opinion, but it's well documented by so many rabbis. And you can see this, the true pronunciation of God's name, of course, the true pronunciation. But I'm not defending that we have only to pronounce the name as Yehovah. No, I don't defend this fantastic, this idea a fantasy in reality, that we have to pronounce the name in the same way. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Let me drink a little water because I'm alive here. Okay. Nice to have all of you here in this opportunity. And as you see here in the text of Exodus chapter 3, God has indeed a name. The Bible does not say Lord as the majority of Bible translations. And the name appears in the Codex, Aleppo Codex, 208 times to read Yehovah with the full vowels. Shiva is an E, Leolam is an O, and Kamat is an A, or E-O-A. So the pronunciation in Hebrew language is Yehovah. But of course we can say Jehovah in English, or Jehovah in portuguese, or Jehovah in Italian language, and so on. There's no problem with this, because as we can see, for example, I'm going to show you an example. If you go to they call the New Testament, please take a look. Matthew, he was not, yes, he was a Jewish man. He was one of the 12 apostles. Luke was not, but he was. And he wrote the Gospel of Matthew. In his first chapter, he wrote, Biblos Genesios Jesu Christo. Take a look, the name Jesu Christo. He used the name Jesu different ways, because in the Greek language, we use the ending here, depends on the case of the word. Okay, it changes all the time, so there is no need of a perfection in pronunciation. And it's interesting to know that when you see the name in Hebrew, Yesu or Jesus, Biblos Genesis Jesu Christo, or Jesus Christ, in Greek Yesu, the apostle wrote Yesu, but he could be doing differently. He could write Yeshua, but why didn't he do that? Why he didn't put the name in Hebrew language or with the transliteration of the Hebrew? Because in Hebrew we say Yeshua with a in the ending. It would become a feminine name, so it was something not good to do. So instead he used the name in the Greek language. The people from Greece or the surrounding areas, in reality the Greek language was the language of the first century language used everywhere. Everybody understood the language, the Greek language. So the apostle used the Greek language, and he did not use the Hebrew while he was writing names in Jewish names. Okay, for example, you see Abraham, you don't see Abraham with the ham, because Jewish people use the throat. But here we have Abram. Okay, and we have many other names in Hebrew, but now you see them in Greek. The apostle, he wrote his gospel first in the Hebrew language, but later, of course, he used the Greek language to transmit the gospels for the world in the first century people of that period of time. And he did not keep the names with their own pronunciation as in the original Hebrew language. So why should we do the same? Here in Brazil, a lot of people like parrots, they are saying everywhere, there is no J in Hebrew, so you should not say Jehovah. There is no J. It's similar to if a person says in the English language, there is no J in Hebrew, so you should not say Jehovah, because there is no J in Hebrew, but J is in English. J is in Portuguese. We use J letter because J is not in Hebrew, so we use. So such people are trying to, I call them geophobicus, or it's a kind of Yehophobia, okay, that are being spread around the world, and like a parrot is spreading a way of spreading something by repeating all over and over again. They believe they will disintegrate, make the name disappear from the mind of the people. They have such a dream. The Bible says, you can see in the book of Jeremiah the prophet, chapter 23, verse 27, God himself said that they dream of that, to make the name of God disappear. It's really interesting. I'd like to find this text, okay, in English. Oh my gosh, everything is different for me if I have to type in English. So I'm going to type here English. I'm going to a website in English that I couldn't find the text in English language. It's better for all of you, because I'm going to say something in Portuguese, my native language, and everything is not good that way. Nobody of English-speaking countries will understand this. So let's see the Bible in the text that I referred to, Jeremiah chapter 23. So this kind of people that say, no, in Hebrew there is no J, you cannot say Jehovah or Jehovah in Portuguese. But take a look why they say that over and over again. And Jeremiah chapter 23 verse 27 says God's words, they intend to make my people forget my name by the dreams they relate to one another, just as their fathers forgot my name because of Baal. Oh, so God said they dream, they have such a dream to make the people forget the name of God. That's why they say, no, you should not say the name because it's so sacred. But the Bible doesn't say that we should not say the name. God said that he wants his name to be known to everybody. For example, Exodus chapter 5, we see a situation where the Pharaoh, the king Pharaoh, he said, who is Jehovah? Yes, he said this in the Hebrew language, you see. Ve'ahar ba'u Moshe ve'aharon. So afterwards, Moses and his brother Aaron came in to talk to Pharaoh, the king. Va'omeu el Pharaoh, and they said to Pharaoh, Ko hamar Yehovah Elohei Israel. Ko hamar Yehovah Elohei Israel. I'm going to find the text in English language. It's better. As I told you before, if I don't find and read in English, then I can't remember all the words sometimes. It says, and Pharaoh continued. Oh, it's verse 1. Afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and said to Pharaoh, this is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says. Send my people away, so that they may celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness. As we can see here in the Hebrew language. Ko hamar Yehovah Elohei Israel. Oh, Jehovah has said, Shalach et ami, send away my people. V'yahoguli ba midbar. Yahoguli are a feast. Okay, as the text says. They may celebrate a festival. In Hebrew language, V'yahoguli ba midbar, in the wilderness. Midbar, wilderness. And what was the answer? Verse 2 says, V'omer Paro mi Yehovah eshma bekolo. Who is Jehovah? Who is Jehovah, said Pharaoh, that I should obey his voice to send Israel away? I do not know Jehovah at all. And what is more, I will not send Israel away. Look at the Hebrew Bible when it says, Mi Yehovah eshma bekolo. Who is Jehovah that I should obey his voice? Leshalach et Israel, to send Israel away. Lo yada'et et Yehovah. I don't know. He says in Hebrew, in English language, it says, I do not know Jehovah at all. In Hebrew, it says, Lo yada'et et Yehovah. I don't know. Take a look how harsh, how tough he was. Oh, he thought he was a God, of course. And who is Jehovah? Who is Mi Yehovah asher eshma bekolo? So he was arrogant. He was headstrong. And he said that he would not, and he said that he would not send Israel away. And we can see here, he's saying this in Hebrew language, Lo Ashalea. Et Israel lo Ashalea. I will not send them away. Oh gosh. He said that, like so many others today, they say, who is Jehovah? Let's put the name Lord instead of Jehovah in the Bible. We don't know this God, that's such a God. We know Jesus, our God, and they worship Jesus. But if you will see the Bible, Jesus said to Satan, go away, Satan, and look at the words of Jesus Christ as we can read in the Bible in the text of Luke chapter 4. Luke chapter 4. When Jesus was in front of the enemy, take a look, Jesus Christ said, first of all, Satan, the devil said to him, verse 6, I will give you all this authority and their glory, referring to the kingdoms of the inhabited earth, governments, okay? Kingdoms or governments. Satan said, I will give all the authority and their glory because it has been handed over to me, and I give it to whomever I wish. If you, therefore, do an act of worship before me, it will all be yours. In reply, Jesus said to him, it's written, it's Jehovah your God you must worship, and it is to him alone you must render sacred service. It is to him alone. You know, take a look. Jehovah your God you must worship. When Jesus said it is written, where it was written? It was written in the Bible. The first part of the Bible, the so-called Old Testament, was written. And it was written in the text you can see in the Hebrew Bible. This, in the text of Deuteronomy, chapter is the chapter 6. The verse is verse, I think, 13. Take a look. Jesus said, it's written. Where was it written? It is written here. Chapter 6, verse 13. It says, Et Yehovah Elohecha. It's Jehovah your God. Tira, you have fear to fear. And Otho Tavod. And to him alone you must worship. Tavod, it comes from Avad. It means worship or to serve, to make a service. So Jesus Jesus said, as it's written, that it is Jehovah it is written, it's Jehovah your God, you must worship. And we see the name of God here in the text that Jesus said is written. So Jesus did not say, you must worship the Lord. There's no such word as Lord here in any place. That's why we have to use God's name as Jesus did. Jesus used God's name in this situation. And he pronounced, of course, and probably, Yehovah. Okay. So the text, I'm going to read it again. It's Jehovah your God you must worship. And it is to him alone you must render. It's to him alone, not Jesus, but Jehovah must be worshipped. So when we come to know these truths, we can compare with these findings about the words of Mr. Bachrach when he says that the name is not Lord and the name is not related to, in any aspect, to Adonai, the words Adonai, because when you, let's take a look, for example, I'm going to show you why it's not the vowels of Adonai. Let's see this. How different it is. Because with the name Yehovah or Jehovah, we have an Yud. It means Y, okay? You have Yud. He is an H, okay? Is an H. Vav is a V, as I told you before. V. And H again, or He again is an H. Okay? Yod He Vav He, or YH, VH, okay? And the vowels, of course, they are Shiva, is an E, as the Rabbi Yaakov ben Moses Bachrach, this linguist, said. The vowels Shiva is an E, Leolam is an O, and Kamat is an A. Okay? from right to left. This way we can read in Hebrew. From right to left, okay? So we read Yehovah. This way. Okay, this direction. And here, Shiva, you put it here. Leolam is a no, you put it here. And the Kamat's a long A here. Oh, sorry. Is an A. So all are stressed here in the ending normally, unless you have another indication. So in Hebrew language, we can say that the name of God is Yehovah. And if you go to the word Adonai, Adonai is different. For example, Adonai, when we compare to the Tetragrammaton, Ye, Shiva here is an E, the sound of E. Ye, we pronounce Ye, but it's a very short E. We pronounce Yeho, okay? Yeho, and Va, and H again. Yehovah. So it's an E. But take a look, Adonai, it starts with the letter that there's no sound. And after that we have not Shiva with the sound of E, but a Hatef Pata. The sound is a very short A. So we read here very short A, because we have this kind of A's. Oh, take a look. We have a very short A in Hebrew. Then we have a Pata. Then we have a long A. Kamatz. So we have three kinds of A sound, class A sound, okay? Here we have a very short A. How can you say that we can make it even shorter, like some people say? There's no possibility to make it even more shorter. So we have a semi-vowel here. There's no possibility to make it shorter. And here, Shiva is an E, a very short E. It's another class. There's nothing to do with this is very short A. So Ad of Adonai is different. So we don't have the vowels of Adonai. Adonai, Dalet here is a D, Leolam here is a O, N is a Nun and an N, Kamatz an A, and Yud is a Y, the sound of a E. So we say Adonai, Adonai. This word means sovereign Lord. The meaning is sovereign Lord, not Lord. Lord is Adon in Hebrew. Adon. A lot of people say Adonai means Lord. No. Adon is Lord. Adonai is a kind of word that means sovereign Lord or Lord of the Lords. So the vowels here, very different from the vowels of Yehovah. The vowels of Yehovah are not the same vowels of Adonai. And who said that? Mr. Bachrach, and so many others like him that says that the name Yehovah is the true pronunciation of a God's name. We can find it in so many different sources. Nehemiah Gordon just brought it to light, and some people say, it's his opinion. Oh my God, it's not his opinion. It's the truth involving God's name. And God said that he wants his name be known. If you go to the Bible, for example, in the text of Exodus chapter 9, take a look, see what God said to Pharaoh about the importance of his name. Let's see in the English language as well, because I can't remember all the words in English sometimes. So I have to find it in English in order to read and you understand. This video I am producing it for people of English language. So I have to speak English language more, because I don't speak English with so many opportunities like I have to now. When if I'm doing such videos, I have to speak English all the time. Because Brazil is so huge, some people don't believe that they say, is there any other language? Some people don't even know that there is other places, other countries with other languages. Just so big our country is. Okay, Exodus chapter 9, verse 16, God says, but for this very reason I have kept you in existence. referring to Pharaoh, to show you my power and to have my name declared in all the earth. Take a look at this. My name, to have my name declared, not forsaken, not erased, but declared in all the earth, not removed from their Bible translations, but declared in all the earth. So God said these words in Exodus chapter 9, verse 16, and I read this in order to finish our a special opportunity I had to talk to you about God's name today. So God said the words as it's written in the original languages. It says, Leolam ba'avur zot ha'emadeticha, ba'avur hareotcha et kohi, ulema'am saper shemi. Be declared my name, Bekol Haaretz, in all the earth.